For over 30 years, Mike Kelly was the voice of the longest-running real estate talk show in the North Bay, The Real Estate Hour. The legacy continues with Allison Norman and her business partner, Stephanie Norman, the newest mother-daughter real estate team, hosting with updates, information, and tips for buying or selling your home. DRE license numbers 017-20334 and 022-09237. Now, here are Allison and Stephanie.
Good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday morning.
Good morning.
Good
Happy
morning.
Sunday.
It's a dreary, rainy day here in
Ew.
Sonoma County, but
You know, it's our
Joe knows
favorite weather.
how much we love it. No, I've grown to be okay with it. Just not my.
Just a little bit of.
It's not my favorite thing.
Just a little bit of rain.
But it was nice getting that little blast of summer.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Get the cool, the warm, or the cool weather. No, sorry, warm weather clothes. Get the warm weather clothes out. That was a scramble, and then like 2 days later it rained. So
I know.
anyway, welcome to Sonoma County.
I know. I was just gonna say that where you can't really put away the clothes for winter, and you can't put away the clothes for summer because you never know what weather you're gonna get.
Even in the dead of winter, sometimes we'll get a really beautiful day, and they're like, where's all that?
Yeah.
Those tank
It's like
tops I put away.
especially in what is it, fall? I think where we get really hot weather.
Fall and winter are my favorite time of year here in Sonoma County, and it's kind of a
Fall and summer.
Fall
my
and
favorite.
oh yeah, summer gets so hot though.
I know.
But really, especially out at the coast, is just
Oh yeah.
very nice. So
It's
nice. People that are coming from out of the area, and they think, oh, you're on the coast, and we're going to go out to the Sonoma coast, which is beautiful, Sonoma
Where
coast, but
there's
it's
swimsuits and everything, and it's it's gonna be windy and cold.
usually in the summer. It's not. It's that June gloom they told us. So anyway, if you're planning a trip to Sonoma County in the summer, just know that we really do get a lot of very hot days, but we also get a lot of unexpected cold days out at the coast.
And
so
if it's hot here, it's like in Santa Rosa where we are. If it's
that's
a
where
really
we all
hot day. Going out to the coast, if you're like, oh, let's go out to the coast and go swimming, or it's so nice out. It's gonna probably be cold, windy.
Yeah,
It's not usually the same weather.
It's where we go to cool off.
Yes,
And then you're there for about a half an hour, and then you want to go home because it's so cold.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not selling Sonoma County very well.
We love it here. Sorry.
No, but honestly, some of the best weather out at the coast is in the fall, in my
Yes,
opinion.
we learned that.
Yeah.
We learned that randomly, I think.
I don't know, even growing up here, but yeah. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of the weather. So, we're going to talk about. So anyway, welcome to the Real Estate Hour. We're going to talk this week. We had kind of tabled the conversation about families working with their adult parents who are aging parents that are maybe going into a senior facility or a community. Or have passed away and they are selling the home, and a lot of the so anyway, we're going to talk about that this week as promised. We've got 8 common mistakes families make when selling their parents' home, and then some kind of managing family conflict. There was a good article in I'm certified as a senior real estate specialist. Stephanie's been in it the whole time with me doing all of the things, but we work with a lot of families and a lot of families who have lost a parent and they have a house to sell, and have also the personal experience of selling my mom, your grandma's house, and the closest of families that say, oh, everything will be fine, we're not going to have any issues. They do. You're gonna. There's feelings. There's resentment. There's the sadness. The misunderstandings, all of the things that get in there, and then and that's a family that gets along, and then add to a family that doesn't get along anyway, and you're selling a parent's home, and some really it really speaks to the fact that hiring a fiduciary to manage as a trustee is really the best way to go if you anticipate any kind of conflict.
Yeah,
because then they're hired, they're there to only follow the terms of the trust.
Yeah.
And they keep their feelings out of it, and they're doing exactly what mom or dad said in their trust that they want done. So anyway, so we're going to talk more about that, some mistakes and some ways to avoid them. Just things to be aware of if you are going to be at some point selling off a parent's home, and you have siblings especially, then things to kind of help you through that process, and things that help me through that process as well. Anyway, what else have we got? We're going to talk about a little bit about fire insurance. You had found an article that said that they were changing. Was it they're
updating, or I think they
updated.
They updated the fire zone map, I believe,
in California.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So anyway, that prompted us to look at the CALFIRE fire.ca.gov website, and they have some really good information on there and some actually interactive fire maps and all of that. And so there was some updates to the fire maps, and it's important to know. And that goes along with also our conversation about fire insurance and hazard severity zones, and how insurance is managed with that. And had Jan Lowen, who's been on the radio show in the past a couple of times. She was at our marketing meeting and spoke about the fact that the insurance companies seem to be loosening up again. It's Lowen Insurance is her company. And she's an insurance broker, so she can access all kinds of different insurance companies. And she said she's seeing it loosen up a little bit to where they all kind of left, and now they're slowly seeing it maybe, cross our fingers, come back. And so it's become a huge thing. And really I mean, look at the news and all of the natural disasters and the fires now in South Carolina and North Carolina after they had the destruction from the hurricane, and then Florida, people are having, not able to get insurance. So it's really not a California thing anymore. It's kind of everywhere. Insurance has been becoming a major factor when you're buying a house. So good information about that. I actually had an email that I got from Polly Barnes, and also I believe she's been on the radio show before as well. Trying to remember, I believe it's CMG Mortgage. I'm looking at my notes, but anyway, she sent out an email that really kind of lays out homeowners insurance and what you need and why it's an issue, and we're going to kind of interject some of that into our own thoughts about it. And we'll talk about that today as well. And then we've got our numbers like usual.
Yes, we do.
We do, and not really anything local to talk about other than the Redwood Empire Food Bank.
Yeah, we did post that on our Facebook page on Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman.
Yeah, and so they actually, along with a lot of relief organizations and people that provide services to the people that need the most, have lost a lot of their funding. They sent out in this Facebook post that the USDA had confirmed that they had lost a huge portion of, and I forget what it is, and I'm not looking at it right now, but they had lost a big portion of their funding and food that was supposed to be heading their way. So they are just simply, saying that we're not going to stop helping people. Here in Sonoma County, their goal is as it has always been, and they are just asking for people to donate if they'd like. And they have a good list of different ways, and they're
I just pulled it up on our
okay.
Facebook page. So it's the USDA has confirmed the permanent cancellation of $500 million in TEFAP food purchases funded by the Commodity Credit Corporation, CCC. While this affects food banks, including ours, we're committed to making sure no one in our community goes hungry. With your support, we will continue to provide essential nourishment to those who rely on us. So that is coming from Redwood Empire Food Bank. And how you can help, you can donate to them to provide critical food to those in need, and that is refb.org/donate. You can organize a food drive for non-perishables, and you can go to that link. It's refb.org/donate-food. Or you can volunteer at distribution site at their distribution center, rfb.org/volunteer.
Yeah.
And
So
this is posted on our Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman Facebook page, and we will have it linked on our
the podcast.
podcast.
That Joe's gonna put it on there for us. Yeah, no, that all sounds great. And you know, if you haven't ever volunteered at Redwood Empire Food Bank, one, they've updated their building years back. Maybe it was like, I don't know, 6 or 8 years ago. It seems like yesterday. But they have a beautiful facility they have there. They have a community market there where people can go in and shop for food. And then they have, if you go in and volunteer, you can go in as a group. It's a great, you know, what are those, you know, the different corporations have their something building. Anyway, I can't think of the word, but you know, they go there to, you know, to get to do something fun after hours, or maybe during, you know, close down for the day, go over there and help, and it camaraderie and all of that. It helps it's really fun, and you get to, you know, to package up food. You get to, you know, weigh up, you know, bags of rice. You know, they have all these things that you're doing, and so it's almost like an assembly line thing that you can do. There's different things that they need, but go in there if you own a business or have, you know, work for a corporation. Say, hey, let's go volunteer and have that day of kind of God, I can't think of the term. I was going to say like trust building, but it's not. You know, and you all that are listening know what I mean. But
a feel good thing when you're helping people.
Anyway, no, yes, that. But when you're getting together with a corporate, you know, your office, you go to, you know, to do something together as a team building.
Yes, team building.
Anyway, team building. A lot of they go, you know, to do different events and different things as a team, as you know, out of the office, get out of the office. That was my point. Redwood Empire Food Bank. Anyway, it's fun to do. If you want to do that, give them a call.
Yeah, check out our Facebook page, Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, or go to ksro.com and you can find us.
Perfect.
And we need to take a break.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we're talking. And let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about the market and the numbers and what's currently happening in the market right now. And the real estate market, that is. Anyway, I'm Allison Norman.
And I'm Stephanie Norman.
We are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back. Good morning, we're back. It is the Real Estate Hour, and we're going to talk about numbers. Let's take a look at what happened in the market this last week. And you know, we've been talking about the spring market, and what have we been telling people? Hurry up,
and get your house on the market.
Yeah, so apparently everyone listened to us. No, it's just, and the reason we tell you that is because it's we see it every year. With the exception of the COVID years, things were a little weird and not the normal cyclical market that we see. But normally, you know, come mid-February, people are starting to put their house on the market, and we're seeing that in the numbers. And what I like about keeping an eye on the numbers is that you can really I'm a very visual person, visual learner, and you can, and so hopefully if you're listening to the radio, you can see it in your mind. But if not, we have it on our Facebook page. Stephanie always posted on there.
Yes, I try to at least.
Yes, you've been very good about
Sometimes it's days later.
No, I don't know. That's been a while since we've waited that long. Usually right after the show, she snaps a picture of my notepad and she's off and running with it. So, but anyway, so the reason I like to keep an eye on the numbers is one reason I think, I mean, it's important to know what's happening in the market, but I like that you can actually see the things changing by looking at the numbers. It lines up with what we're saying. And so as we said, you know, get your house on the market in the spring, and
technically we said do it before spring,
because I know.
Everyone puts them on the market in spring. You don't want to be one of many, you want to be one of
few or one of none. You want to be the only one going, hey.
But we were correct that everyone waits till spring to do it.
Yeah, well, so we really are seeing a big jump in the market. There are 734 active single-family homes on the market right now. That's up from 712 last week, 665 the week before, 676 the week before. So,
goodness,
so when we say we're seeing more come on the market. We can feel it, and we can actually see it in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
In escrow, we've got 285 in escrow. Oh, let me just go back up for a minute. $1,092,000 is the active median price for single family homes. However, the median for the in escrow is lower than that. It's $869,000.
Oh wow.
So, and that's not the sold. When you hear people, on the news or whatever saying, the median price for Sonoma County, it's actually sitting around $840,000, $850,000, somewhere around there. But for single family homes. But what's currently in escrow right now is listed at $869,000. We will see what it closes at, and that's the median. That's the middle of the market. Condos are 120 condos. That's a whopping 120 condos. That's inching up as well. That's a really big number for condos.
It is, yeah.
Gosh, if you have a condo to sell, just know you're gonna have some competition. Price it accordingly. Add some sizzle to it. Whatever you can do. This is not the market to be asking too much for your condo. And then there's only 34 in escrow. So big difference between what's active on the market and what's in escrow in the condo market. And that includes condos and townhouses, PUDs or condominium. Anyway, so that's a market as a buyer that you've got some leverage. And now let me just back it up a minute and say that this is the entire Sonoma County numbers. So the place you're looking, that complex that you're looking in, and you want to buy a house in there may not be any listings, or there may only be one. And now you can't go and say, well, there's 120 active condos in Sonoma County. Allison and Stephanie told me that I could get a really good deal. If it's the only one in the complex, you don't have as much leverage as you do if there's, a whole bunch of them, and then they're all kind of competing with each other for you, the buyer.
Definitely.
So definitely a good time, though, to be considering a condo if that's something that works for you.
Yeah.
So mobile homes, we have 83 active mobile homes in the market. That's also kind of a big number as well. 39 in escrow. Multi-units, there are 55 active multi-units on the market with 19 in escrow. Multi-units, really good thing to consider if you're not finding what you want in that single family category.
Yeah. You can use it as you can live in one and rent the other. You can.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that you can do that. You can get VA financing. You can get FHA financing. So a lot of your first-time home buyers, hey,
it's a good opportunity.
It may not be that cute little house with a picket fence that you are dreaming of owning, but that doesn't have to be your first home. Your first home can be a catapult to so many other things, and buying a multi-unit property, living in one, you get conventional financing, FHA financing, VA, whatever, but and then your tenants are paying your mortgage, or a portion of it. You can also use that income that you're going to get, and a lot of lenders will count that towards your debt to income for qualifying. So it's a really good opportunity. It also sets you up as an experienced investor, and there's some investment loans that require that you have some experience as an investor, a landlord. So it's really a good option if you can make it work, and it's a really good opportunity for you.
Yeah, definitely sounds ideal.
Yeah, and then land, there are 254 active land listings with just 34 in escrow. That's pretty normal, those numbers. Actually, the active came down a little bit, and these are buildable residential land. Alrighty, so moving on, let's talk about the senior or families working that have senior, older adult parents that may be moving into a senior community, may be hospitalized, not ever really going to make it home, or they've passed away, and now the family has now been kind of left with what to do with the house. A lot of times it's, maybe one sibling wants to buy the house. They say, oh, I want to keep the house. There are ways to make that work if you can qualify for the loan. Depending on how many siblings there are, you're going to divide up that amount, and then your portion would go towards your purchase of the home, and then you have to come up with the rest based on the value. So there's definitely ways to do it. There's a lot of times where maybe one sibling wants it, none of the other siblings do, but they don't want that one sibling to have it, which we've seen a lot, which is just a weird thing. But it is. It's an emotional thing.
Yeah,
It's like, well,
yeah.
I don't want it, but I don't want you to have it. So we've actually seen people kind of sabotage the other person being able to get the home,
Yeah.
which is weird, but it happens. It's family.
does,
That's what
yeah.
happens. You know, like I said at the beginning of the show, that even the families that get along perfectly, there's going to be some conflict, and I hate to say there's going to be for sure, but you know, maybe there's not, but there
Yeah.
most likely will be some level of conflict because there's emotions involved.
Yes.
So anyway, some comments. We have a good list. This is from the Senior Real Estate Specialists website and their newsletter they send out. But they had, and we thought it was some good tips and common mistakes families make when selling a parent's home. And Stephanie, you want to
Yeah, so
do the honors?
we have a list of the 8 common mistakes families make when selling their parents' home. So number 1 is setting the price too high.
Yeah, and that could go for anybody
Yes,
out
it
there,
really
anybody
could,
that's
yeah.
selling your home. But again, emotions run high,
Yes.
and one, they're looking at the money they're going to get and going, well, I want to get at least this much money out of the house, because they're splitting it,
Yeah.
you know, and so there's that. But then also just this, but this is the house that we grew up in, and it's
Yeah.
worth $1 million, even though it's not, you know. So
Mhm.
it's our job as your realtor to kind of keep you in check with that, and really keep those emotions at bay, or you know, acknowledge the emotions, but really take the lead and say, okay, I know that's how you feel, but this is what the market looks like right now, and
Yeah.
this is what the market is saying your home is worth. And that's a conversation we have with all of our
Yeah,
potential
and
sellers.
actually a lot of this, pretty much all of this, these 8 things here,
Could go to anybody.
yeah, could relate
Yeah.
to any seller.
Yeah, so what's number 2 on the list?
So number 2 is selling the home as is.
Yeah, and
That is a big one.
and that goes again, like you said,
Yeah,
to
with
anybody really.
Anybody, yeah.
But when emotions run strong, but also, you know, take a look at what, sometimes there's no money in the estate, and you have to sell it as is. You
Yeah.
don't have the money to do it, but if that's the case, then you need to look at the price and say, okay, then we need to price it lower, because if we can't do these repairs, then, you know,
Yeah.
we can't do them, and that's how it is. But if you have the money, if there's the money in the estate, the parent that died had left some money in the estate that you can work with, you know, take a look at it. Talk to your realtor. Talk to us if you don't have a realtor yet. Look at the difference. What could I sell that house for if I did put a little bit of money into it? And what would be the difference if I sold it as is? If you're going to sell
Yeah.
something as is and it has a lot of deferred maintenance, you're going to get the cash flippers. You're going to get the lowball offers. You're going to get the people that you know, you're going to get offers from people that with a loan, that are getting a loan, and the house, maybe if it has a lot of deferred maintenance, isn't going to qualify for a loan. So
Yeah.
you get a lot of disappointed people that go, oh my gosh, look at the price, we can afford that, and then they don't realize that they're not going to be able to get a loan for it because of the condition of the property. So the goal when you're selling a house is to make the biggest buyer pool you can, to make it available to the most amount of people. So
And I think the biggest thing we see when selling the home as is when they keep that dirty carpet.
yeah,
Get rid of that.
yeah.
And a lot of the times, if it's an older house, underneath that carpet, there could be really pretty wood.
Right. We sold a house like that.
Yeah,
A
the
few
original
years
wood
ago, and they
flooring.
didn't want to take up the carpet because they grew up in the house, and that carpet. It was actually, the carpet was nice and it was in good quality, but the first thing the buyer did, I stopped by to pick up my lockbox. He was pulling out the carpet. There's beautiful wood underneath. Had that been taken out ahead of time, it would have been a whole different story selling that house. So, you know, sometimes we try, but, you know, and it's ultimately, it's your decision as a seller. We don't make you do anything. It's your decision. So we're here to advise you. So what's number 3 on the list?
Number 3 is not eliminating clutter.
That's a big mistake.
It
Yeah.
is a big one, yeah.
And, one of the things I noticed, and you were in it too, is when my mom's house, she had lived there for, what did we just determine, like 57 years, you know, since the 60s, early 60s, and no, late 60s. Anyway, I think we moved there in 1969. And she kept a lot of stuff, and it wasn't junk. It was nice stuff, and I mean, she had a lot of art things that she was saving over the years to eventually do something with, found objects and driftwood, and and then tons of art and art supplies, and then just things that she kept because she grew up in that era, and a lot of our baby boomers right now that we're seeing that we're working with have that same thing. They grew up in that era where you didn't throw things away and you saved them and you kept. I mean, some of her stuff from 50 years ago is in great condition, and she was still using it, So, but when you go to sell it, it's a whole different story. And I've seen it both ways. And what we did, because my sister came from Texas, and couldn't stay here indefinitely, so she was helping get the house cleaned up and all of that. We took a lot of the things that we couldn't decide who was keeping, it's just the two of us, and we put it in storage. And that it was not the best way to do it, but for us it's what works. So now then we were paying for storage until she could get here, and we could actually go through everything and decide what we wanted. I've seen other situations a lot where they'll do it that week, that before they put it on the market, or right after, that month after it happens. They're going through everything. Goes to a donation, here's garbage, here's this, and it's a very systematic way of getting everything divided and out of the house. So whatever works for you as a family, and we're here to help guide you and help you through that. From personal experience, and without spending a bunch of time going into it, we can help tell you, what we've seen work for people, depending on your situation. And then, but really, anytime you sell a house, you want to get rid of the clutter. I would say if there's nice furniture, check with us, check with your realtor, and say, is this something we should leave here for staging, or not? Because a staged home, and we'll talk about that on another day, a staged home sells for more, sells better. People like to see what it's going to look like when they live in it, but they don't want to see all of your stuff. So there's a way of staging in a way.
So you personalize it and open up the spaces.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then so number 4 on the list.
Oh, this one's a big one. Overlooking important repairs.
Yeah.
That is a big one.
And that kind of goes along with the as is on number 2 that says sell it, mistake, don't overlook the important repairs, and really, and the small things too. I mean, if there's little, banged up edges of trim and all that, take a paintbrush, just, or sometimes we've been known to do that for you. So, quick fixes, but the big things, and sometimes you don't have the money to do it, and that's okay, and we'll price it accordingly. But overlooking those, just know that it's going to affect your price and your eventual sale price.
And one big way to help that is getting inspections done beforehand. Yeah,
especially if somebody's been in the house for a really long time. We think it's really important to get those inspections. Good point. Okay, so number 7.
Trying to hide problems.
Oh yeah,
so that kind of goes with it, where you don't want to put, I don't know, a cabinet in front of a hole in the wall.
You can, but you have to say, by the way, there's a hole in the wall behind the cabinet. Disclosure. We talk about all the time. It's really important. Now, when you're selling as a trust, a trustee of a trust, there is instead of 8 pages or 7 pages of disclosure, there's one, maybe 2 pages. It's an exempt seller disclosure. You're not required, because you didn't live there, to have all the information about the property. But if you know about something, you need to tell about it. And you need to, if you're going to cover something up, you say, there's a hole behind here because it looked horrible, or just fix the hole, but don't cover up, don't hide things. If you know it, you need to talk about it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the last 3 on our list. Okay, so I'm Allison Norman.
And I'm Stephanie Norman.
And we are the Norman Home Team, and you're listening to the Real Estate Hour. We'll be right back. Okay, so back to our list of...
we have 3 more left.
Of our 8 common mistakes families make when selling a parent's home.
So we left off on number 5, so now we're going to go to number 6, which is cutting costs on photography. You do not want to do that.
Yeah, we can, and if you have a good realtor, they know that, and they're going to make your house look beautiful.
And I just wanted to say, because we did just come back from a break, and we're talking about the 8 common mistakes families families make when selling their parents' home.
Perfect. And we've gone down the list of setting the price too high, selling the home as is, not eliminating clutter, overlooking important repairs, and trying to hide problems. Those are the things you should not do, and those are some of the first 5 mistakes. Number 6, as Stephanie said, cutting costs on photography. Spend the money. Well, actually, you're not spending them. Well, eventually, in the end, you're spending the money on it. But that's what our fee pays for. That's what our commission goes towards when we're listing your house. We spend sometimes, over $1,000 on just photography, video, Matterport walkthrough.
Yeah.
And then if it's a high-end house and we're going to do a longer video and more dramatic video, and we're going to spend a lot more money on marketing. But even just your median priced home or lower your condo, we spend over $1,000 on marketing, and that a big part of that. I mean, not just marketing, that's just on photos. You know, so make sure when you're talking to a realtor, are they going to be doing, maybe they can show you some of their listings and what the type of marketing they've done and what kind of photos you're going to get. There's a fine line too. There's AI does a lot now, and people do. And when we talk about staging, be careful, with that. There is some good AI now that can put some furniture in a home for you. But the people are going to show up and they're going to go, well, where's the furniture? Not that you're going to buy you're not getting the furniture, but part of the benefit of staging is that you can feel it. You're in it. You can see. You can feel it better.
It's more homey.
Yeah, and people, a lot of people can't really envision where things are, even if it's in a photograph. They need to be in it and feel it. So, but there's a fine line between the house looks nothing like it was online, and I hear that. We hear that a lot of times from buyers that are out looking at a property, and then you walk in and you're all, wait, is this the house that we're supposed to be looking at? It doesn't look anything like it, so be careful that it's not over the edge, super wide angle and making the room look huge, and you walk in and you're going, okay, how is this possibly the same room that was in the picture? So we like to use realistic but very nice looking pictures. You can look at any of our listings, and we use the same photographer, the same system is set up for every single listing. That includes a website, and it includes a Matterport sometimes not. It depends on the house. Sometimes the house doesn't really, it does a Matterport, which is the 3D, right? So sometimes that doesn't serve the house well for people to see it and be able to zoom in on everything. It's better. We want to get buyers there. So anyway, but don't crimp on that. And really, if you have a realtor, they're going to do it. So you're not, if you're crimping on the realtor, but the realtor you should make sure you hire a realtor that's going to really market it, even if it is a vacant listing. That's a trust sale, even if it's a fixer. You want good marketing, good photos. Okay, well, sorry. What's number 7 on the list?
Being unwilling to negotiate.
Yes, that's a big mistake.
Yes.
You gotta. Everything's negotiable in real estate, and just know that. And there's a lot of times that people will compare it to like buying a new car, or when you're selling a car and you're going to list it higher because you know that people are going to offer less. Real estate is different. It doesn't work that way. A lot of times people are offering more than that. If you have it priced. If you have a price right and it's competitive and you're going to get multiple offers, you might not though. So be aware of that. You might be getting offers that are lower. We as realtors are required to present every single offer we receive, whether we think it's a good offer and it's going to offend you or not. And as realtors working with buyers, we're also required to present it to the listing agent any offer our buyer wants to write. Really, I mean, it's also our job to say, this is way too low, and they're probably going to be insulted, and you're going to give up any opportunity you have to come back and offer them a more realistic price. But so that's a conversation we're going to have. But you need to be willing to negotiate as the seller receiving an offer. And sometimes it's just an opening of a conversation. Don't get insulted. Just say, well, no, we're not willing to do that. But here, we are willing to do this. And a lot of times when there are multiple siblings, it's one person's I just want to sell this because I need the cash, or I want to be done with it. It's making me sad having this house sitting here that our mom or dad lived in, or that we grew up in. And then there's another sibling that says no, and then they have this whole other book of knowledge that they that they think this is how they should act when they're accepting an offer. So just be willing, listen to your real estate agent, and then make your own decision on how you want to do. But you may have to be willing to negotiate. So,
and then
number 8.
Number 8. This is probably the biggest issue, and this is where
you want number 1.
Yeah, it should be number 1, and this is where you want to get your fiduciary involved, or get a fiduciary involved, and it is letting your emotions rule the process.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
and we've been saying it through, I think, every single one through 8. It comes back to the emotions, and it is an emotional thing, and it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for multiple reasons. You're sad that you lost the loved one. You're sad that you have to sell this house because you'd much rather buy it, but you can't, or you hate your siblings and you have to work with them, so
a lot of reasons.
There's hate's such a strong word,
but is a strong word.
there are some families that absolutely do not get along.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, now we have to do this, So,
and I just was gonna say, this goes along also. It's not just with selling your family's home. It could be your own home. You have a lot of emotions with it, and you need to sell it.
Yeah.
And
any home, and on the buyer side too, it's an emotional experience, and it is. You have to kind of try and remove your emotions from it, and it's hard. But remember, it's a business transaction, really, when it comes down to it, and it's an investment, or if you're a buyer, So ultimately, even if it's your family home, that you're selling, but or that you're buying a home. Anyway, so I think we kind of we have another list, but I think we're going to have to step away from that now because we have some other stuff to talk about the insurance. Next week we'll start with insurance and talk more about it. But insurance has become a huge issue, and really it is a contingency of the sale that you make sure that you can get insurance, and it's not going to be so much that, one, your lender is going to say, oh, you no longer qualify for this loan, and 2, it's more than you wanted to pay, or you can't even get it at all. There's always the fair plan, but it's a huge thing, and even though it's a contingency of the sale, I think it's something you should check on first. First thing you do.
The thing with that is, I hate to compare it to a car, but I compare it a lot to cars because when you're looking at a car to buy, you always check. You want to know what the insurance is going to cost. You want to do that with a house too. If you're going to buy a house, you want to check on the insurance first and make sure you can afford it.
Yeah, so do that with a house too, because it's a huge deal. The good news is that we heard that it's opening up a little bit. Also, CALFIRE, if you go to calfire.ca.gov, they have new fire maps. So it's a good idea to take a look at that. But we're out of time, so we're going to talk about this fully and tell you all the information next week. And if you want
any of the information we talked about today, you can check out the Facebook page, The Real Estate Hour with Allison and Stephanie Norman, or go to ksro.com.
Absolutely. I'm Allison Norman.
And Stephanie Norman.
We're the Norman Home Team, and you've been listening to The Real Estate Hour. We'll see y'all next week. Have a great day.